What's up, guys? Welcome to another I'm a Fighter podcast. This is episode 66.
It's too late, it's my fate, I can't turn around. There's no fear in the mirror to hold.
What's up? What's up? Welcome to another I'm a Fighter podcast where we want to entertain, inspire, and educate and remind you that a fighter isn't someone who never fails. A fighter is someone who never quits. I got my journal in front of me and some quotes I want to share with you guys that I think you will dig. Men don't fail, they give up trying. Often is not the wrong start, but the wrong stop that makes the difference between success and failure. That's right, man. We don't fail. We just give up trying, and we quit along the way. To quit while we're ahead would be silly. To quit when we're behind is even sillier. It requires will to hold on a little longer. Willpower. Ooh, I talk about that in the Fighter book. Make sure you check that out. That quote is from University of Success, O.G. Mandino, one of my favorite books right now. Super thick book. I got to finish this thing, man. It's taking me forever to read it, but I'm loving it. I'm enjoying it. It's because I'm working on music at the same time. I'm also doing these podcasts and traveling, playing shows, and being busy, being a dad, being a husband. It has been awesome. But hey, I got the chance to sit down and interview a good friend of mine who I used to tour with back in the day, and that is Dawn from FireFlight. They got a new record coming out. They have also gone independent recently as artists, so we're going to be sharing about that and diving into that. Hey, if you know any girls out there, guys, whatever, but girls, go tell some of your other girlfriends to check this out because Dawn has a really inspiring story. She's encouraged me, she's inspired me, and I know this interview will do the same for you. Let's jump in. I guess we met originally on the Shout Fest tour. I don't know if that was like 2006, 7, 8. I don't even know if you know.
I don't know. It was 2000, a million years ago.
And I just remember rocking the shows in the heat, and you just rocking it out,
Totally.
and us just being all like outside in the heat all day, a sweaty mess for the rest of the
Trying to
the day.
survive, dude. That's what we were doing.
What-
And I remember hanging out at the hotels, whatever random hotels we'd have afterwards, or be hanging out at the pool or in the hot tub just trying to recover from the day before. So it was some fun times.
Yeah, it was awesome. And Flatfoot 56, I remember those guys as well,
Oh,
too.
yeah.
So awesome. Well, for people who aren't familiar, when did you start singing, and how did you get started into singing? I don't know if you even had a solo career before FireFlight. Can you give us a little history?
Sure. Yeah. No. Really, I kind of started singing when I was just a kid in grade school and elementary school. I would sing in the talent shows and everything like that, and then I didn't really do much with it until around when I think my sophomore year of high school is when I dedicated my life to Christ and started going to church, and I started singing on Sundays, and then I was graduating from high school, and I was in a group called the Fellowship of Christian Athletes. And the Fellowship of Christian Athletes would put on a graduation service for the graduating seniors every year. And so I was in that organization, and I was a senior, so I sang a song with a friend of mine. He played guitar, and I sang, and we did that for the baccalaureate service. And Glenn and Wendy, who are the bassists and guitarists in our band, they were there to see their brother, Glenn's brother, graduate because he was in the same class as me. And so they saw me sing, and they came out to me after and said, "Hey, we're trying to start a band. Do you want to be our singer?" And I said, "Okay."
Awesome.
And that's where it all started. So I didn't have any solo career or anything. I just, I just did solos. You know what I mean? Church. And then we started up with this band, and we've been together for 15 years. So
Wow.
It's been a long road for us.
Yeah, that's awesome. And so you were probably what, 15, 16 when you kind of started singing live then? Is that about the right age?
Around 15 or 16 when I started singing at church.
Okay.
And then around 18 or so, 17, 18 when I started up with the band.
Awesome. And so in the 15 years, how many years until you guys got signed? And I'm trying to remember the label because I know there was a bunch of you guys. Was it Provident that you guys got originally signed to first?
Well, actually, originally it was 5 years that we kind of did things on our own, and we worked our butts off just doing stuff on the weekends and and using all of our vacation time and stuff to get as far away as we could for touring, and then still get back in time for work and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then finally, we did sign to an independent label that was owned by Audio Adrenaline and started by Audio Adrenaline, Mark and Will, called Flicker. That's what we were on for about a year, and then Flicker got bought by Provident and Essential, and then we got grandfathered into Provident, and that's where we were for like about 8 years until we started to go independent about a year and a half ago, and to try just kind of taking off on our own for a little bit.
That's awesome. That's so awesome. And I want to jump back to the whole independent question. I had a question about that. But before that, I wanted to ask, because when we were touring, I think, or when we first toured together, I think that's when you were with Flicker. And I was kind of watching you guys start to just really take off. And so what was the experience like? Because you guys went from like a new band, and it just seemed like you had this, like all this success and like just worldwide audience. And so like, what was that like? Because I heard you guys had like a song in like one of the Winter Games or something like that, or Bionic Woman. I don't know. I don't think we've actually ever talked about it. So.
Well, yeah, it was kind of crazy there. We started off, like a super baby band. Even though we'd been working for a long time, we felt like we were old, but we were nobody. So, but the cool thing is, right around the time when we transitioned over from Flicker to Provident, we had some success on primetime television with NBC and their Bionic Woman campaign, and our song Unbreakable was on their primetime advertisements. And so that was a huge boost to us, of course. And then a couple of years after that, I think, we had the chance we were in this online contest for Taco Bell called Feed the Beat. And it was like a battle of the bands, but the fans would vote. And we ended up winning. And so we got to go to the Winter X Games and perform in Aspen, actually outside in the snow in the Winter X Games, which I was like, we're going to do what? And then it happened. And it was pretty crazy. It was awesome. And it was kind of neat to just sort of, like you said, not exactly overnight because we've been working on it for like 6 years. Right. But just to suddenly see the big difference. I mean, I can remember I was sitting in the kitchen with my mom. We were cooking dinner. And then suddenly I was like, what's that sound? We kind of looked at the TV, and I looked at the TV and I realized it was our song playing on the TV. It had just come on, and it was for a commercial for the TV show and everything like that. And suddenly our song, and we just started jumping up and down and screaming in the kitchen. And it was pretty crazy. And what it really did was it was super humbling and took me back to the very beginning of our band starting when I was first just praying about being in the band in the first place. And God had just spoke to me during my quiet time, just saying that he was going to take us out onto the stage of the world to share the message of his love. And so as I was sitting there listening to our music play over the television on primetime TV on NBC, I just felt like with God, bringing to fruition so many of his promises, and so good. It showed how faithful God was, and so it was pretty amazing and humbling time. Yeah,
that's rather. I feel like there's one thing when a song gets played on the radio, and there's obviously nostalgia about that, but then when it's on TV, I don't know, or like a movie, it's just like another level. It's just like just so
totally,
cool.
Dude. Well, these days, TV and movies are the new radio, so
yeah,
that's definitely going to become more and more the case.
For sure. And so now you're independent. Congrats on that. I know a lot of bands are doing that. I think Disciple, TFK. I know our next record is going to be independent. What's awesome. Like? Have you released it yet? Like, I'm looking on Spotify, and I know you had a single out. Was it Resuscitate? I might be saying that wrong. I saw it on the
Christian the first
Rock.
single was Resuscitate, and we just released another one called We Are Alive. But actually, the album dropped May 5th.
May 5th. Okay, sweet. Well, make sure all the listeners go check that out, May 5th. So has there been a lot of big differences yet? Like, are you feeling like what's it been like, independent versus being signed so far?
Well, it's been pretty crazy. Like, it's we were super excited and also kind of super scared about it because, we've been under the Big Brother, protection of the label for so long, But at the same time, you're in this big family, and you have to do what the family wants you to do, kind of thing. Right. So there's so many pluses and minuses, and we were super happy with our label and had a great family there, And then, but then over time, with us being a rock band, it's a hard sell in the Christian music industry. Yeah. When it comes to keeping, paying the bills and keeping the lights on and all that kind of stuff. So, we just kind of felt like where we were headed and where our label was headed. we didn't necessarily build each other up anymore. And so we felt like, well, maybe it'd be better for all of us if we kind of started doing it, apart.
Yeah.
So we actually released, and they were kind enough to do that. And
wow.
So it's been pretty crazy. We had to, we did a fan fund to support our new record, and we were, we didn't know, is this going to happen? There are certain times when things aren't rolling in, and you're thinking, okay, is this guy's way of telling me it's time to retire, or what's going to happen? You just don't know. It's your whole livelihood on the table. So we just ended up. Thankfully, our fans totally came through for us, and God came through for us, and we got full funding for our album. And we've been taking our time, and we took like a year and a half to write this album. And in the past, we've been like, yeah, good luck writing this album, in the next 4 months while you're also touring.
Yeah.
And we're going to move up your studio date has just been moved up a month too. So it's always like, just tried. It's a huge mad dash scramble,
Yeah.
But this time we've really taken our time, and by the time we were done writing, we had about like 24 songs to choose from, and we had to edit it down, as opposed to before just be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, record.
Right.
So it's been really cool, and we've really been super happy with it, and we're really excited about the release, and we're loving all the songs, and we're really excited to see what God's going to do with it.
Cool. Sounds like some, new energy and passion. And I heard the new single. It sounds dope. I haven't heard the other one. I'm going to go listen to the other one when we get off this call. We Are Alive. I'm going to check that out. The theme of this podcast is a fighter isn't someone who never fails. A fighter is someone who never quits. And I just maybe wonder if you could share maybe a struggle with the band or something, or, maybe you're in a place where you guys felt like quitting and you didn't, and maybe why.
Totally. Yeah, well, like I said, we've been together for 15 years. That's a long time, and bands are like they celebrate birthdays like dogs do. It's like dog years.
Yeah,
and band years were really ancient.
Seriously.
So, it's been a huge struggle, because I think whenever you have more than one person in on a project, there's always going to be so much, so much growth that has to happen, so much give and take. A lot of death to self, and we've been a band and living together, like practically living together, on a bus sometimes, in a van, sleeping on floors, and traveling for a long time. And it takes a lot out of you, and it's wearing, and you just want to. There's so many times it feels like it would be so much easier to go home. You're tired of missing your family's birthdays. You're tired of, not being there for graduations. You're tired of all the stuff that means so much to you, and you have to just put it all in the back burner all the time. So I think just for us, I think being a fighter means just honoring what God's told you to do, and pursuing it even against all odds, and keep fighting for it no matter what happens, and just sticking with it and being loyal, and in the long run, if you'll do that, you'll get you'll reap the fruit and the benefits of it. And we've always treated this band kind of like a marriage,
Mm-hmm.
And that's another good example of something that you just have to fight for, because it's not easy,
Yeah. Yeah.
And in the same way, we've had to be willing to make sacrifices, not only in our personal lives, but there was a time where our band was going to counseling together. And so I think for me, in my personal life, and then also in talking to other people, and walking through, their situations and their problems with them, counseling people who write into the band and stuff, what I've seen, what it really means to be a fighter is being willing to get the help that you need, even if it means you have to take a hit on your pride or whatever.
Yeah.
Like I said, we went to counseling. I went to counseling for like a year to help me with issues that I had,
Yeah.
And if you're willing to do that, if you're willing to do whatever it takes to get the help that you need, you'll always find the help that you need. But if you're not, you're probably not ever going to get anywhere.
Yeah. Yeah. And
so I think truly means being a fighter means being willing to accept the help that you need, and being willing to work hard at your own healing.
For sure. Yeah, Don. And that's I don't even know what else to say. There's just so much good stuff there, going against all the odds, and, accepting not necessarily your weaknesses, but getting the help when you need it, as opposed to just failing. And I feel like sometimes we're scared to get the help, or because of our pride, or it's like, oh, I don't need help, or, I don't get any issues. And it's like, well, actually, those are the ones that actually tend to do, as opposed to the ones that actually admit it. Wow. So awesome. I had one more question before I let you go, and that's just
Sure.
Any advice you can give to artists out there that are just starting, want to start, have a passion for something, and just maybe some encouraging words of advice there.
Totally. You know, I would say first and foremost, just stay on your, stay before God about everything that you've got going on. You know, if God has called you to, a certain place or a certain ministry or whatever, or even just a certain expression of the gifts he's given you, he's going to make a way for that. And so if you'll chase him first, it's kind of like they said, seek ye first the kingdom of God, and all these other things will be added onto you. I would, first and foremost, just sit on God's lap every moment you have and really just chase after him. If you follow him, he's going to lead you where you're supposed to go, and you'll go places no one else could go. And then, second of all, this is such an incredible climate we live in now. We talk about, being an independent artist or whatever, but there's so many opportunities through social media to market yourself and to build yourself up, to the fans and everything. And I really feel like that's where it's at. The record labels are really struggling right now to figure out new business models to survive, because historically they've sold records and that's how they've made their living, but no one buys records anymore. So when that's the case, you got to figure out what to sell now. So, it's a struggle for everybody. It's a hard time to be in the music industry. I always, my best advice to most young people is to find a good source of second income that can support your dreams so that you don't have to give up on them.
Yeah, don't quit your job too early. Use the job to
don't quit your day job.
Before you quit your job, do these 5 things, as Dawn says. Awesome. Where can people connect with you personally and also the band online, maybe?
Totally, yeah. Well, they can come to our Facebook, which is facebook.com/FireFlight Rock. And they can connect with me personally on my own Facebook, which is it's just facebook.com/Dawn Michelle FF, and that's Michelle with 1 L. And Dawn Michelle 1 L with a number 1, and then the letter L is my Instagram if they want to follow me every day. So,
okay, awesome.
Yeah, we have a lot of opportunities. It's us who answers the Facebook message and stuff. I'm about to have a baby, so I may not be really fast at responding here for a little while, but that, it is us who does all of our correspondence.
Okay, sweet. I'll make sure to put those in the notes, and definitely congrats again. That's so awesome. All right, there's the interview with Dawn from FireFlight. Make sure you go check out their new record. It is dope. The singles are out there rocking, going up the charts. They're doing some really good stuff. As she was sharing, they really wrote and worked hard on this record, and it shows. Go check it out. It's a really good record. Support them and what they're doing. I want to thank her so much again for coming on this podcast. She just crushed it, and I like the advice there at the end. I was just listening to the end of the podcast there, and just the idea of not quitting your day job right away. I quit my job way too soon, man. I quit it way too soon. I even went from 5 days to 4 to 3, took leave of absences, and I still quit a little too soon, because you don't want that financial pressure. You don't want that. You want to be able to just create music and enjoy it. And I'm not saying you don't want the pressure to work hard, but you don't need to jump too soon without a plan. And if you are an artist seeking to figure out how to make this music industry work, go to smartmusicbusiness.com, sign up for the free video course, and then get enrolled in launching your career as an artist. And let's jumpstart your career so you don't have to make the same mistakes that I have done and many other artists have done. Hey, I believe in you guys. Never quit. Keep fighting. A fighter is someone who never fails. A fighter is someone who never quits. I want to play for you guys one of my favorite songs off the album Citizens Active, and that's Kick It featuring Trev from TFK.